We find ourselves in a strange place. Beneath the glow of fluorescent lights, our gaze lands upon the sterile expanse of tiled floors and the mundane sight of a sink. This must be a bathroom. The dance of a tiny man indicates that this is no ordinary place. Our attention is drawn to an open toilet, and suddenly a head thrusts itself upwards from the bowl. It performs a surreal dance accompanied by a song. Then the head abruptly attacks us, triggering the sudden end of the video. These 11 short seconds are captivating, providing a narrow window into what truly must be a fascinating universe. What is this toilet? It sings a song, but the lyrics are tough to make out. However, one word in particular is notable: Skibidi. It's clearly of some importance because it's in the title of the video as well. This is our first exposure to the world of Skibidi Toilet, a tiny slice of a realm beyond our wildest imaginations. The mystery deepens with the release of a second video entitled Skibidi Toilet 2. We find ourselves in a new place, perhaps an office building of some sort. As we approach an elevator, the doors open, revealing 3 urinals within. The same bizarre heads appear, creating a synchronized dance. Comparing to the first video, we can see that the choreography is identical. But this time, a third head shows up, with green hair. The lyrics of the song continue with, At the end of the video, the green-haired toilet skull is briefly visible, clearly humanoid despite a strange and stretchy spine. There are some important details to notice beyond a T-posing genie. The wall outside the elevator contains a poster, the same one seen in the first video. It's a screenshot from the Tears for Fears music video, I Believe. The video was released in 1985 and it's a wistful ballad. Let's look at a few of the lyrics. I believe that when the hurting and the pain has gone, we will be strong. Oh yes, we will be strong. The exact moment of the image contains the following stanza. I believe that if you thought for a moment and took your time, you would not resign yourself to your fate. And I believe that if it's written in the stars, that's fine. I can't deny that I'm a Virgo too. These words feel oddly ominous. Who's the one in pain? Who has not resigned themselves to their fate? For the moment, the answer is far from obvious. The third Skibidi Toilet episode takes place outdoors. It appears to be a rather large city as evidenced by the skyscrapers. Several people watch from the bridge as giant Skibidi Toilets approach on the ground. This is the first indication that Skibidi Toilets can move, and we also discover that they can be much larger than a standard toilet. But it's still too soon to make any definite conclusions. We must continue on to the following video to learn more. Skibidi Toilet 4 takes place within a restaurant, but there's clearly something weird going on. Instead of chairs, the diners are sitting on toilets. Zooming in on their plates shows that they appear to be eating, not food. The peaceful scene is suddenly interrupted by a Skibidi Toilet entering through the doors with its signature song and dance. It's followed soon thereafter by a large toilet with several tiny ones. If we pay close attention, we can notice something fascinating. Do you see the gray-haired man at the table? After the toilet enters, he has been sucked into his toilet seat, becoming a Skibidi Toilet himself. Skibidi Toilets are created from humans. This is the first direct evidence for that fact. This scene is rich with implications, many of which will become more important later on. It's notable that the human society is using physical toilets. Given the food the patrons are eating, aren't they sort of acting like a toilet even before they've been transformed? This scene is worth keeping in the back of our minds as we continue. Skibidi Toilet 5 returns outdoors, and we see that military equipment has been deployed. We also discover that Skibidi Toilets are capable of flight. But that's not all. The next episode takes us somewhere else entirely. It appears as though we're in a nightclub of some kind. Pulsating lights accompany humans and Skibidi Toilets dancing together. The pumping music is controlled by a DJ toilet. And while this scene may seem simple, once again there's a wealth of interesting details. At the very beginning of the video, we can see a poster on the wall. It turns out that this is the Skibidi Toilet from the very first episode. We also see a dancing G-Man character in a suit. The eagle-eyed will have already noticed that this same person was in the restaurant 2 episodes ago. But why didn't he get turned into a Skibidi Toilet? Is it possible that there's something special about him? However, things really start to get interesting when we analyze the song the DJ is playing. It's a remix of Bloody Mary by Lady Gaga. Specifically, it's an excerpt from the first verse. When Punctius comes to kill the king upon his throne, I'm ready for their stones. The name Punctius is an allusion to Pontius Pilate, the Roman governor who ordered the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. Pontius is coming to kill the king upon his throne. But the term throne has a secondary meaning. It's sometimes used as slang to refer to the toilet. In that sense, the king could be considered a Skibidi Toilet. Its head is on the throne. Someone is coming to kill the toilets, but they'll be ready for the stones, indicating that the toilets are going to fight back. The concepts here are similar to the lyrics from the Tears for Fears poster. Being ready for their stones might be an extension of not resigning to fate. Something is about to happen, something big, but what? We get our first taste of the answer in Skibidi Toilet 7. A character walks up to a toilet by a light post who begins its song and dance. But then, a first-person gloved hand reaches over and flushes the toilet, killing it. This short sequence teaches us a lot. First, we discover that the camera is diegetic. These videos show the perspective of someone who physically exists in the world. The shadow shows a vaguely humanoid shape, but the head seems different. Whoever this is, though, appears opposed to the toilets. They understand how to kill them, pulling the lever. But this action is not without consequences. After the flush, several new toilets appear, approaching ominously. Then there's a huge toilet. His face is familiar. The G-Man from the restaurant and nightclub has finally been transformed. The question of who is recording is answered in the following episode. A corps of people in suits are marching in formation near the city center. But these people are not normal. Their heads are replaced by cameras, either black or white. Their marching is soon opposed by a group of Skibidi Toilets, suggesting that they are about to do battle. Our suspicions are quickly confirmed as we hear a few punches in the background. The recording cameraman whips around to see a toilet rapidly approaching with several dead cameramen behind it. It can't react in time and it succumbs to a toilet attack, which ends the video. So we now know that the videos we are watching have been recorded by these cameramen. The shadow we saw previously matches their appearance. The cameramen are engaged in a conflict with the Skibidi Toilets. This video ends with the recording camera being attacked by a toilet. And when we think back, we realize that almost every episode so far has ended with a similar violent attack. This wasn't just for dramatic effect. The Skibidi Toilets were responding to the physical presence of the cameraman. The 9th video starts with the cameraman observing a pair of toilets. They're looking at a golden toilet upon a pedestal, which is the same poster from the nightclub. The first-person cameraman approaches and flushes one toilet. The second attempts to flee but is soon flushed as well. The cameraman spray paints over the toilet poster, vandalizing it with the red symbol of a camera. In the distance, we see another cameraman dancing as he is pursued by police toilets, presumably from performing a similar act of vandalism. The recording cameraman suddenly finds themselves apprehended by the police, and the video ends. Skibidi Toilet 9 is the longest video to date, and it teaches us quite a bit about this world. First, we learn that the toilets are the ones who control the city. They have an organized police force, and they have constructed toilet-centric monuments. Humans appear to be living peacefully alongside the Skibidi Toilets. Notice the people walking calmly in the background with cars on the road. In fact, this is in alignment with previous episodes. Humans often watch toilets, but they don't appear to be afraid of them. They'll even share culture, sitting on toilets in a restaurant, dancing in a nightclub. The toilets never attack humans. Instead, they always attack the cameraman that is recording. And this cameraman just murdered 2 toilets in broad daylight. But things are about to take a turn for the worse. In Skibidi Toilet 10, the cameraman enters what appears to be a church of some kind. Rows of toilets are seated as organ music plays. At the pulpit, a toilet appears with a halo, a holy toilet of sorts. They begin their dance, but are suddenly interrupted by a loud boom. A door has been flung open, and several cameramen enter as toilets flee in terror. They climb up on the holy toilet and work together to flush it. The cameramen flash a thumbs up sign at the end. But this is no thumbs up situation. The cameramen have invaded a place of worship, ruthlessly killing the peaceful holy toilet. This is a straight up war crime. Article 53 of the Protocols Additional to the Geneva Convention specifically prohibits acts of hostility directed against the historic monuments, works of art, or places of worship which constitute the cultural or spiritual heritage of peoples. Now, I'm no international lawyer, but the actions by the cameramen here appear to represent a clear violation and a serious humanitarian concern. If we look more closely, we can see that the toilet poster is prominently displayed within the church, the same poster seen on the monument with the golden toilet. A color that is the same as the halo of the holy toilet. And a chilling idea begins to form. Did the cameramen from episode 9 kill the toilets while they were praying? suddenly things start to make sense. This has been foreshadowed the whole time. The Tears for Fears poster. I believe that when the hurting and pain is gone, we will be strong. Oh yes, we will be strong. You would not resign yourself to your fate. The toilet in episode 2. We ain't here to hurt nobody. The DJ song. When Punctious comes to kill the king upon his throne, I'm ready for their stones. The cameramen are not the good guys. They're invaders, flushing toilets in cold blood, desecrating religious monuments, assaulting places of worship. They are the threat coming to kill the king on the throne. They are the hurting and pain the toilets are fighting against. And the cameramen are showing no signs of letting up. They've only increased the cruelty and complete disrespect towards the Skibidi Toilets. The first 10 episodes provide most of the baseline information regarding the conflict in this world. The following several episodes show the escalation in the conflict, including a series of battles between the cameramen and the toilets. I won't go through all these in detail, but the broad trends are that both sides begin to use increasingly advanced weaponry and tactics. One episode to note, however, is Skibidi Toilet 16. A cameraman has constructed a toilet drone and they use it to enter a red warehouse. It appears to be a covert research facility of some kind. The toilets notice the drone and it detonates, but the effect is limited. A toilet with robotic metal legs attacks the cameraman. While it's certainly intriguing to see behind the scenes of the toilet's technological innovation, there's a key detail that we need to discuss. On the tablet screen, there's a cat Skibidi Toilet. This is the only animal we've seen in this entire series. It suggests that perhaps toilet conversion can occur with other living things besides humans. But there's a deeper implication here. Notice how the cat sings the Skibidi Toilet song alongside the human heads. A cat on its own can't sing or dance, and yet here it is. Somehow, the Skibidi Toilet song is fundamental to the nature of the toilets. Even transformed beings who can't normally sing acquire the ability. The next several episodes show increasingly intense battles. We discover that the G-Man toilet is a leader. We also see that the cameramen have a huge titan, which turns the battle in their favor. However, it is weak to attacks on its glowing heart, as seen in episode 20. In a darkened room, there's a toilet chained to a desk, with paper scattered across it. Two cameramen flank the toilet. As the Skibidi anthem begins, the cameraman on the left pulls out a picture of the G-Man toilet, apparently interrogating them for information. But the captured toilet is defiant. Suddenly, it becomes frenzied, singing a repeated Skibidi, 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 Skibidi. Spooked, a cameraman quickly flushes it. But this was no normal Skibidi anthem. This was a distress signal, and it's quickly answered by a laser blast from the G-Man toilet. This is the first time that we've learned the specific meaning of a Skibidi anthem variation. Repeated Skibidis indicate distress. This has occurred a few times in previous videos. The second Skibidi anthem with the "We ain't here to hurt nobody" lyric concludes with repeated Skibidis. It's heard as the toilets flee the church, and a Strider sings it before it's crushed by a titan. We don't learn too much in the next episodes. An attempt to kill the G-Man toilet by flushing fails, and we are introduced to a new Hydra toilet. Episode 23 shows the cameraman repairing the Titan, and we see that it has a finger energy ball attack. But things get interesting in episode 24. The toilets have begun to turn the tide on the cameraman. The recording camera is on the verge of being defeated by the Hydra toilet, but it's suddenly flushed by a hand. As the camera is helped to its feet, we discover that a new faction has entered the battle. These are the Speakermen with, you guessed it, speakers on their heads. An army of them has appeared to join the cameramen in an alliance. The next couple of episodes show that the Speakermen have their own technology, using it in conjunction with the cameramen to fight the toilets. But they also have something else, their own theme song. It's Everybody Wants to Rule the World, a second reference to Tears for Fears. This song was also written in 1985, and it explores the consequences of an insatiable lust for power. The very first time the Speakermen are seen, the lyrics are, "Acting on your best behavior, turn your back on Mother Nature. Everybody wants to rule the world." This choice of theme song perfectly crystallizes the invasion of the cameramen and the Speakermen, a desire for additional territory, power, and destruction. These themes are expanded upon in Skibidi Toilet 25, where the Alliance uses a giant speaker as a weapon. The song here is Depeche Mode's "A Pain That I'm Used To." The lyrics immediately following the blast are, "There's a hole in your soul like an animal, with no conscience, repentance unknown. Close your eyes, pay the price for your paradise. Devils feed on the seeds that are sown." The Alliance has shown a complete and utter disregard for the religious customs of the Skibidi Toilets, even going out of their way to actively attempt to suppress them. They've attacked toilets in cold blood, continuing to escalate the assault. The lyrics in the song used by the Alliance agree with this mentality. There's no repentance, no conscience. They've turned their back on Mother Nature, desecrating what's right and pure. But there's an undercurrent of doom, that these actions will come with a price. One day, devils will feed upon the seeds or actions that the Alliance has committed. By Skibidi Toilet 29, it seems as though the Alliance has conquered the city, driving the toilets into the shadows. But the appearance of a glitchy toilet catches them off guard, swiftly dispatching of the nearby Alliance members. This is an example of how the toilets have been forced to adjust their strategy towards new technological innovation. We see a more powerful example of this in the next few episodes. In Skibidi Toilet 30, the scientist toilet from episode 16 makes another appearance. He produces a tiny parasite Skibidi Toilet, which is capable of controlling the minds of Alliance members. This immediately turns the tide of the war. The toilets can now use the Alliance's troops against them. It even works on Titans. The Speakerman Titan is infected in Skibidi Toilet 32. This sudden change in the war forces the Alliance to create innovations of their own. It turns out that the physical removal of the parasite toilet is enough to free the mind of the infected. In Skibidi Toilet 35, we see that the Alliance has developed a gun capable of this. But it's not enough to free the Speaker Titan. A blast hardly phases it. The cameraman throws the gun to the recording camera, who flees an explosive assault by the infected Titan and G-Man toilet. Nonetheless, the gun proves useful. In episode 36, we see its effectiveness against an infected onslaught. The Alliance designs a more powerful version attached to a buggy. The turret frees several large speakermen who attack a mutant toilet nearby. The Alliance then attempts to free the Titan speakerman, but the laser blast is intercepted by the G-Man toilet, who has been upgraded with additional lasers and a jetpack. Skibidi Toilet 38 is the final episode in the first chapter of Skibidi Toilet, and unfortunately we don't have time to cover the entire series today. But let's go ahead and at least watch the first episode of Chapter 2, Skibidi Toilet 39. This appears to show the same battle as the previous few episodes because of the setting. The recording cameraman fights against several toilets. A jetpack toilet approaches, but suddenly looks to the side. We turn to see someone new, a figure in a trench coat with a television for a head. The screen turns on with a powerful blue light, trapping the toilets in a trance. This allows the cameraman to easily flush them. As the recording cameraman gives a thumbs up, the TV shows a winking face, and then the episode ends. If we've been paying close attention, we will have noticed that this TV character has made a few appearances. It's seen in the cameraman lab in episode 34. It watches the cameraman flee into the alleyway in episode 35. It observes from a building in 36 and a bridge in 37. Who is this mysterious character? Unfortunately, we aren't going to be able to answer that today. With the Skibidi Toilet series, we found ourselves in a world of immense complexity. Sorting through it can be tricky. Let's try and break it down a bit. Big picture, we've seen a huge battle between the Skibidi Toilets and the Alliance, starting first with the cameraman and later the speakerman. The setting is a large city. There are many reasons to believe that Skibidi Toilets are inhabitants of the city. They run the police force, have constructed monuments, and have purpose-built buildings for religious services. The toilets have a thriving culture, with music as their primary form of communication. A central symbol is their poster, which is seen in many locations. It's important enough to the toilets that the Alliance goes out of their way to cover it up. So let's think about this image more deeply. It shows the Skibidi Toilet from the very first episode. But what are these episodes, really? If we think back to Skibidi Toilet 7, we'll recall that all Skibidi Toilet videos are taken from the perspective of a cameraman, and the first Skibidi Toilet video is no exception. This means that this is the first Skibidi Toilet to have an interaction with a cameraman, and if that's true, then this particular Skibidi Toilet is incredibly important. The cameramen represent an existential threat to the toilets, stopping at nothing to conquer the city. This toilet is the first time that an attack materializes, and in that way, the first toilet was a prophet. Remember the Tears for Fears poster on the wall? I believe that if you thought for a moment, took your time, you would not resign yourself to your fate. And I believe that if it's written in the stars, that's fine. It foretold the arrival of the Alliance. It was written in the stars. And it becomes increasingly clear why the Skibidi Toilets would hold this toilet up to a nearly religious level. Maybe it's a prophet, maybe it's a martyr, but the fact remains that everything the toilets do is in response to this first toilet's discovery of the cameraman. It represents the resistance to the Alliance, the decision to fight back. At this point in the series, it's not clear what the motivations of the cameramen are beyond a deep hatred for the toilets. The arrival of the speakerman is also unresolved. The clear similarities between the two is noteworthy, but at this point a satisfying explanation remains elusive. I'll leave you with one final question. The cameramen are filming everything that they do, but where are these images going? Security cameras don't exist in a vacuum. The footage is transmitted to a control room where it can all be seen at once. Is it possible that this is happening with the cameramen? Is there someone, something behind the scenes that we can't see? Who would be interested in this footage? The Skibidi Toilet series is ongoing, and this video merely covered the first chapter. Future episodes may change the interpretation. This is a world rich with complexity and detail, and I hope this deep dive helped you think about it in a new way. What are your theories? Does this make sense? Let me know in the comments below. This has been RetroGamingNow. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Have a great day.